A soft wind from the south began to blow, and the men thought that they could carry out their plan. So they pulled up anchor and sailed as close as possible along the coast of Crete. But soon a very strong wind, the one called a nor'easter, blew down from the island. It hit the ship, and since it was impossible to keep the ship headed into the wind, we gave up trying and let it carry us along. We got some shelter when it passed to the south of the little island of Cauda, and there with some difficulty we managed to make the ship's boat secure. They pulled in on board and then fastened some ropes tightly around the ship. They were afraid that they might run into the sandbanks along the coast of Libya, so they lowered the sail and let the ship be carried by the wind. The violent storm continued, so on the next day they began to throw some of the ship's cargo overboard, and on the following day they threw part of the ship's equipment overboard. For many days we could not see the sun or the stars, and the wind kept blowing very hard. Early on in my pastorate at St. Malachy Catholic Church, probably I want to say in my 6th or 7th year, it's hard to tell right now, it was festival time. The festival tents had just been put up and the tables had been put out. Big time here at St. Malachy, the festival. Well, a storm front was coming through, and sometimes it's kind of nice to watch a storm. I opened up the garage. I pulled out my chair in the garage. I was sitting down. The storm was coming in from the west, so I knew the rain wouldn't be pouring into the garage since the garage faced north. And I watched this storm come down. The rain, there's lightning, there's thunder, and the parking lot looks like waves going across as the rain is whipping across the parking lot. And I thought, boy, this is really something. And the wind got stronger, and this mighty gust of wind comes up. And it gets under the main tent. And if you've been to our festival, it's quite a large tent. That wind picked up that tent like a giant balloon. It soared into the air and then crashed into the Vegas tent, the next largest tent. What a disaster, especially since we're only 4 days out from the festival. Well, I got on my cell phone, which was an old flip phone, by the way, if you remember those. And I began to call people, who are connected to the festival saying, we have a disaster, we better get up here. This is really going to be bad. And sure enough, once the storm passed, a lot of people gathered right away, and ropes were cut and other things were tied and some things were hauled out. And the next day, the tent people came and replaced the tent, and the festival went on as always. And it reminded me that, yes, our lives sometimes have storms blow up in them, and we might think all is lost. But if we stay true to our faith, in the end, all will be well in the eyes of God.